Pro Boxing fans here with the legendary duo, Jim Watts, Simon Jordan, taking over the Talksport. I listen to you guys every day, so I thought I'd
doing our best.
I want to get your thoughts, man. Both of you guys have been here. Big fight, huge fight. We saw the crowd today, and that's when you know it's going to be an absolutely massive fight. Talk to me about this, Simon. I know you're a boxing head anyway.
If there was any doubt it was a big fight, then you would have seen the atmosphere and the environment we've just been in for the last 3.5 hours. Look at the weigh-in, look at the two fighters coming into the auditorium. Different reactions to both fighters. You know, boos for Kell Brook, but he, I think, thrives and survives off that. Amir Khan, to me, coming in the way and looked a little bit more apprehensive than I anticipated he would. I've always gone from the get-go with Khan. I've looked at the body of work that Khan's done over the years. I'm a huge admirer of his. Met him when he was a young kid just coming out of the Olympics. Liked him very much. Watched his career. A slickster, a great fighter. I can't help but watching him against Devon Alexander as one of the best fights I've ever seen, and the style that he put on. But looking at this weigh-in, looking at what it means to Kell Brook, looking at the attitude that he exhibited on there, if I were looking at it without the bias I have towards Khan, I'd be saying Kell Brook every day of the week and twice on Sunday, by what I've just seen there.
So you're not sitting on the fence at all, are you? Jim, look, there was a lot of talk about Kell Brook actually making the weight. Like even yesterday, people were saying, is he willing to actually pay a fine and, you know, go a couple of pounds over? We've seen today he did it. He looked quite good, actually. What did you make of that win?
Yeah. Well, I agree with Simon. I mean, I thought Kell Brook was amazing when he came in there. He made his presence felt on the stage. The very fact that after the weigh-in, he went back on and positively baited some of the Cannes fans, which just added to the atmosphere. It really was outstanding. I liked the way he did that. Simon's on the money with that. I must admit, Brook has swayed me there at the weigh-in with his demeanour, with his mood, and I'm going to go Brook to stop Khan, I think.
I had the temerity to tell Kell that I thought he'd lose. Now, I was told by Spencer and Adam Catterall, if he comes over there, for the love of God, don't tell him to his face at this particular time. I said, I'm not that bloody stupid, but I'm not one of those that sort of prevaricates and pontificates and flip-flops. But looking at the two fighters, if you judge anything by a weigh-in and looking at the way that their body language and what they're exuding, I have moved. I picked Amir from the get-go. I've picked Amir, and I want to stay true to what I think. But when I'm looking at this particular scenario, I'm moving towards Kell because from the get-go, he's wanted it more. He's always wanted this fight more. It means more to Kell than it does to Amir, which is not diminishing Kell's achievements, but they are diminished slightly in association with Amir's. So I just think the guy that wants it the most, if there's enough in the tank, is going to win. And it looks to me like the guy that wants it the most is Kell.
Just going off that, you've been around a lot of athletes, a lot of football stars. These two men are supposedly past it. It's gone past the best. 5 years, 10 years, the fight should have been made. But they're both hungry. This is personal. It's not even about a legacy. It's probably just this fight is very personal. How much will that push them up levels?
I think it will drag them up levels. I mean, ultimately, you can only go to the well so many times. But they are both diminished as fighters. So he's not stepping up in again against Terence Crawford or Errol Spence. You know, they're stepping in against one another, and both of them have diminished from their peak and pomp. So you're going to look at it and say, who's diminished the most? The argument rages about, in their pomp, with the speed and slickness of Amir Khan, have overcome the timing and punch power of Kell Brook. I think personally it would have done. I don't think Kell Brook's timing would have come into play because I think Amir would have been too quick and too slick. But where we are now is who's got the most left in there? Who's got the biggest willpower? Because if they both hit the canvas, which may happen in this fight, who wants it more? Who's going to do the Lazarus? Who's going to drag themselves up like Tyson Fury did against Deontay Wilder if it comes down to that? It looks and feels like Kell will. But you can't necessarily judge everything by situations like this. When that bell goes, or when they get in the ring and everybody vacates, all the background noise waits for a moment, and it's just those two looking one another, like Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao, then we'll see who's got the chops.
You know what, Jim, you've been around a lot of football.
I was just going to say he's good.
Yeah, he is fantastic. Fantastic. You've been around a lot of football. We know when there's a big derby or a big game, you don't generally need to look at the form before. It matters on that one game. Is that going to be the same for this night? Forget what's happened in the past.
Yeah, so I think the form book goes out the window, and the very fact that everybody's chopping and changing, and we are. I mean, adds
to the intrigue.
Adds to the intrigue, Simon. I mean, you were certain about Cannon hand speed earlier on, and now you're swinging towards Brook. I think a lot of people will be in the same boat, that starting with one and going for the other, and that's the intrigue of this fight. I stick with Brook, but probably by about midnight tonight, I'm back with Cannon.
You've given me your prediction. You both are, but I'm going to get you guys to sort of give me something definitive. How do you see the fight playing out from 1 to 12 or 1 to 6, or however you guys see that fight playing out? How does it go, Simon?
Look, I mean, the conventional wisdom tells that if Kell doesn't get him out there early, it becomes more of a Khan fight, because he's going to pop away at Kell's face. You know, the damage has been done by Errol Spence. It was done by Gennady Golovkin, a fight that he probably should never have been in if Eddie had done his job properly and got him sold at the weight he should have been in fighting at. But the bottom line is that if Kell, I think they're going to be cagey. I think there's going to be an element of respect. I think the atmosphere is going to create an element of reticence in both of them. You know, there's this idea that Kell's not going to be able to control his anger. I don't think that's the case. I think he wants this fight. I think they're going to control and channel it, and it's come out in natural energy. I think the fight will ebb and flow between the first 4 rounds. If he doesn't do some serious damage to Amir in the first 4 rounds, then I might start going back to my original perspective of, I think Khan is going to do this. But it's about how much they've got in their legs. Because if Amir's going to move around, he wanted the bigger ring, so we know he wanted the bigger ring because he's going to move, which is sensible. It depends if he gets drawn in by the crowd. If Amir starts wanting to trade with Kell and wanting to be brave and be a hero, then we know he gets knocked out, and we know that Kell's got the power to do it. So I'm trying not to prevaricate, and I'm trying not to sort of be ambiguous, but it is such a moving feast, and what that is the intrigue. That's why you're going to get 800,000 or 900,000 pay-per-views. That's why Ben Shalom's at the moment in time with a big bag of swag, carrying it home, thinking, look what I've done here. So the bottom line is, it's fascinating, and it's got so much intrigue that it engages everybody.
Simon, that was fantastic.
I put my scarf on. I'm out of here. Everything he said is true. Everything he said is true, and whatever he said, I'm with him. I'm just so looking forward to it. It's going to be special. It's going to be special.
Listen, like I said, I listen to you guys all the time.
Thank you.
Big fan. Well done for everything you guys do. But big night tomorrow night. Enjoy it, and
thank you.
No doubt we will as well. Thank you very much, guys.